something the size of a golf ball, you're not alone. It's actually one of the most common gardening frustrations that I hear. The problem usually isn't the soil, and it's not just bad luck. It's because most people treat onions just like they would peppers or tomatoes. But onions are definitely weird. Today I'm showing you the simple and synthetic-free way to start them off right, so you can actually get the huge harvest that you've been looking for. Before we even touch the dirt, we have to fix mistake number 1, day length. Onions are triggered to bulb based on how many hours of daylight they get. If you live in the north and plant a short day onion, it'll bulb up way too early while the plant is salt, tiny onions. You need to pick the right type for your latitude. Since we're here in zone 6B, I'm using multiple different varieties, but I went ahead and got these 4 for the example, which will be long or intermediate day, but I have a secret trick that actually where you can grow more of the short day varieties as well, and we're going to cover evergreen onions as well. The first one I planted was the red Geneva onions, is a long day variety, which is what's recommended for my general zone. And then we're going to be planting this one. I'm not really sure that I want to butcher that, but it is an intermediate day, so it actually grows right through the middle. So it'll be perfect for us as well. And I've actually grown this one before and it works out swimmingly. But then I also planted a red burgundy onion, which is a short day. So the problem with that is when you plant in short days, they are going to bulb up too fast and be tiny. But what I found is if I plant these intercropped with my tomatoes, I do get a bigger bulb. And if you plant them in the late season for a winter harvest, they will actually perform better. So the thing to remember with each of these will be that 14 to 16 hours of daylight for bulbs to form. Your intermediate will want 12 to 14 hours, and your short day onions will want 10 to 12 hours. We also have another wonderful intercropping onion, which would be the bunching onions. There's a whole bunch of varieties for these. This is a new one to me. I don't have much to say on how it actually works, but we're going to use it as an intercropping variety instead of trying to get bulbs off of them, because you grow them more for the green onions and less for the white part of the onions. And they're evergreen and they'll just keep producing over and over again. They're the cut and come again of the onion world. Now for the soil. We believe in synthetic-free foods here at Carter's Gardens, so we don't use any synthetic fertilizers, synthetic soils, so on and so forth. Since onions are hungry, we definitely need a living soil for this. I'm using a mix of sifted compost, worm castings, Fox Farm Happy Frog, and a little bit of perlite just to get that little bit of extra drainage in there. This is going to give them a slow-release formula that will feed them just fine until they finally hit the garden beds. Here's a tip to save you some space whenever it comes down to starting 1,300 onion seeds like we are. Instead of using a 72-cell tray, go ahead and use your Old Thanksgiving, catch them on sale at Dollar General roaster pan. Try to keep it about 4 inches deep. That seems to be the sweet spot. 2 inches, I've noticed it'll be stunted, and anything deeper seems like just a waste of soil to me, and space as well. What we do is called multi-sowing. So we fill this whole tray up with the potting mix, and then we multi-sow on top of that. What that means is I just take my seed packet, I pop it open, and I just gently scatter it over the top. I try to keep it about 1/4 inch, but if there's some that are closer, that's fine. If there's some that's farther away, that's fine as well. I've done this for multiple years, and it seems to work really well compared to the cells. We've done the cells, but they're kind of a nuisance for me to do it, and it takes a lot of these to get 1,300 seeds started. In this container specifically, which I think is just a basic 9x9, we actually have 150 seeds in here total, which would be the Walla Walla and the red Geneva. This one's actually, nope, it's a long day. I think so is that one. Yep. So they're both long day onions. We do have short days started in another tray in the back. You can actually get away with multi-sowing in the seed cells themselves, but you're going to have to be a little more about it. So when you fill these up, you can actually just sprinkle 2 or 3 seeds per cell. So that's going to up your overall seed start per cell. Onion seeds can be tricky germinators. So the big deal is once you put your soil over the top of them and cover them and mist them, you're going to want to keep that upper layer moist no matter what, because once they dry out even once, they're done. So We used the humidity dome and we missed everything before we put the humidity dome on. And as soon as you see the first green loops start coming through, pull the humidity dome because we don't want to have rot in there. If some of them are behind it, they've probably already started germinating. They just haven't came through the soil yet. So don't worry about it. Just pop it off there as soon as you start seeing onions coming up. And when you walk by, if you see it starting to dry out while they're still trying to come out, go ahead and just give them a mist. Don't get super excited. And if you really struggle with onion seed germination, we actually have a video I'll put up top and down in the description for how we did onion seed germination in a Ziploc bag. It's a good way to test last year's onion seeds. Plus, what I've noticed is you can actually take those onions that have germinated out of the paper towels and actually plant them in cells or in the same setup as this, and they will produce. Once your onions start to get about 5 inches tall or so, the initial wisp, I kind of look at them like they are, seedling leaves, the sprouting leaves, however you want to say it, where they first come up. They're not their true leaves yet. Those wisps, for some reason, will always turn brown and kind of die off. So what I like to do is I like to just come in and give them a light haircut. And while I'm doing that haircut, I like to let the clippings just fall down inside there because it's just a little bit more organic matter. And what the plants have mined to make those leaves and what came out of the seed is going to be trapped in those leaves, which offers more nutrition back into the onions that are still growing. And something to keep in mind is thicker stalks now will produce bigger onions later. And what I mean by that is they're going to put in energy into the root ball, and that's going to tell it to start putting more energy into producing more leaves, because the more leaves you have, the bigger onion you'll have later on. And if you do this every couple of weeks, by the time it comes to transplant, you're going to have about pencil thick onions that are ready to thrive in your garden. And if you want to see exactly how we prepare the garden beds for the onions to go in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you get notifications for all our updated videos. I'm going to be doing from seed to harvest on all the plants that I do for the seed starting season. Keep it simple, keep it clean, and we'll see you in the next one.